msamiati ya Kiswahili ambayo anafaa aielewe vizuri. Kwa hivyo tunapopongeza mheshimiwa wa Lamu, tunafaa tupange maneno kama vile ambavyo anaipanga na vile ambavyo inapangwa na mheshimiwa wa Mombasa ambaye anaporomosa Kiswahili vizuri sana. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mheshimiwa Osoro, uko kwa hoja ya nidhamu au ufahamisho. Abu kwa wakati huu lazima mjue wajumbe waheshimiwa kwamba mmepoteza spika.
Niko katika hoja ya kufahamisha bado.
Spika haelewi msamiati ngeli na hayo mambo mnaongea.
Kweli kabisa spika, nikiendelea kufahamisha mheshimiwa Rachel nimweleze kwamba hata katika lugha ya Kiswahili kuna pia unasahihi mtu kisha baadaye kama haupendi kusikiza ama kidogo uko na maoni tofauti kwa yale ambayo amesema unakanusha. Kwa hivyo kwa mfano unaposema kwamba mama alinikimbiza katika lugha ya Kiswahili, wengine usema kwamba mama hakunikimbiza, lakini hicho sio Kiswahili sanifu. Unapokanusha usema kwamba mama alinikimbiza. Kwa hivyo ukijibu unasema asante mheshimiwa spika.
Ya, yule ni mheshimiwa Sietenei au mheshimiwa yupi? Mheshimiwa Watarbo, ungependa pia kunena kwa lugha ya Kiswahili?
Asante sana mheshimiwa spika. Nataka kufahamisha bwana Osoro, mheshimiwa Osoro, ya kwamba ameongea Kiswahili mufti sanifu, sio Kiswahili mufti. Aweze kuongea kwa Kiswahili mufti ndio tujue anaweza kuporomosha Kiswahili vyema. Asante bwana spika.
Bwana Osoro ameongea ile Kiswahili tunasemanga imebuniwa upande wa Nyanza. Ako na tabrija kuu ukimlinganisha na mie speaker. Allow me now to... You want to contribute? Okay. Bwana Gikaria utatamka pia?
Asante mheshimiwa spika. Kwa kweli ni shukuru mheshimiwa Ruaida Mohamed kwa hoja hili ambapo alileta hapa katika bungeni ya kuweza kuwajali watu ya sehemu ya upande wa Mombasa mahali kuna bahari na pengine watu wanapoteza ama wanapata injuries kutokana na wanyama wale wako ndani, majeruhi kwa ile vitu inapatikana. Niseme kwa kweli ni kitu cha muhimu kuangalia, kwa sababu kuna wakati mimi nilijaribu kuleta mswada kule kwangu, watu wengi kwangu wanapata madhara ama wanajeruhiwa mpaka maafa inatokana kutokana na nyani, na nilijaribu kuweka nyani wawekwe kama wanyama wa porini ambaye kutapatikana compensation, lakini haikuwezekana. Lakini fidia. Asante bwana Osoro. So niseme tu kwa kweli nimshukuru sana mheshimiwa Ruaida kwa hiyo nafasi, na pengine hata sisi in future kwa sababu kwa siku zijazo tuangaliliwe kwa sababu ya hawa wanyama ambaye ni nyani ambaye wanalete madhara sana katika miji mikuu mahali kuna poli, especially kama kule kwangu kuna hiyo national park ya Nakuru ambaye watu wengi wanaathirika kwa sababu ya huyu mnyama anaitwa nyani. Kwa hivyo niseme once again kwa mara nyingine mheshimiwa Ruaida, pongezi sana kwa msaada huu ambao umeleta. Asante.
Yeah, honorable members, I now put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover of the bill to move.
Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba kutoa hoja kwamba mswada wa hifadhi na usimamizi wa wanyamapori marekebisho, mswada wa bunge la kitaifa nambari 3 wa mwaka 2023 sasa usome mara ya 3. Pia naomba Mheshimiwa Owen Baya kufika kuafiki hoja hii. Bwana Spika, nataka nichukue nafasi hii niwashukuru wabunge wenzangu kwa kuungana pamoja kupitisha huu mswada. Pia nishukuru uongozi wa bunge kwa kuhakikisha kwamba leo tumefika hii stage. Hili ni jambo kubwa sana kwetu kwa sababu madhara mengi tuliyaona wakati tulipokwenda kule, kamati ilipokwenda Faza. Watu walikuwa wamekatwa miguu. Hivi sasa ni kuambia lazima kwa mwezi lazima at least mtu mmoja, angalau mtu mmoja atakuwa amepigwa na huu mnyama anaitwa yeda, kwa kizungu stingray. Pia kuna watu wengi wameathiriwa. Itasaidia watalii, hata si watu wetu peke yetu. Kuna mtalii alienda kupiga picha na akakatwa na papa. Pale feri pia watu wengi wanaathirika na papa kwa sababu meli zikija zinapita na mapapa. Bahati mbaya pengine mtu ameingia chini ya feri kutengeneza, anakatwa na papa na hawapati malipo. Hii itasaidia hata hawa wabunge. Saa nyingine wanaenda kujivinjari, wakifika Mombasa, wakienda na zile boat. Bahati mbaya waanguke kwa maji au sema unataka kuogelea, kuna saa nyingine hatari inaweza tokea, pia wao itakuwa imewasaidia. Bwana Spika, sitaki kuchukua muda mwingi zaidi, lakini nashukuru sana. Hata nimeshikwa na shaki. Najua kwangu hili ni jambo kubwa sana. Watu wangu nao watajihisi kwamba ni Wakenya, Coast wote kwa jumla watajihisi kama ni Wakenya na wao hawatengwi kwa sheria. Maanake sheria mwanzo ilikuwa imeangalia tu watu kwa ardhi, watu wa maji, sisi ambao tunaringizwa na maji ilikuwa hatuonekani. Nashukuru bunge hili sasa imefanya kwamba watu wanakaa kwa visiwa vya bahari au wanakaa kama mazingira ya maji na wao wamewekwa kwa rada ya serikali. Maanake mara nyingi walikuwa wameona wametengwa. Hii itafanya tuweze kuhifadhi zaidi wanyama wetu wa pori. Asante Bwana Spika. Sije nikalia, asante.
Mheshimiwa Wenbaya.
Asante sana Bwana Spika, na hakiki mswada huu na afiki mswada huu kwamba usomwe kwa mara ya 3, na pia niseme kwamba kama vile wabunge wenzangu wanavyosema na vile Mheshimiwa Roida amesema, huu ni mswada mzuri sana, mswada ambao utasaidia watu wa pwani. Kilifi ni kati ya zile kaunti ambazo ziko na ufuo wa bahari mrefu sana, na bahari iko pale na watu kazi yao wengi ni maneno ya ubaharia, na mswada huu umekuja kwa wakati wake, kwamba ni wakati sasa watu ambao kwa muda mrefu walikuwa wamesahaulika katika maneno ya kufidiwa katika zile ajali zinafanyika ndani ya bahari, sasa pia wamepata nafasi. Kwa hiyo mimi ile nataka kuomba bunge hili, nataka kuomba uongozi wa bunge, mswada huu upeleke kwa haraka sana, uwekwe sahihi na rais ama assent, ili usikae. Nimeona miswada mingine tumepitisha hapa imekaa haijapelekwa for assent, na mimi nataka niwaombe sana, huu mswada ambao Mheshimiwa Roida ameufanyia kazi sana na ameweka kazi zake sana na amepatia matumaini watu wa Lamu na watu wa pwani, kwamba ufikishwe kwa haraka sana kwa rais, uwekwe sahihi, ili wale ambao wanaumia kwa sababu hii maneno ambayo imefanyika wapate fidia kwa haraka sana. Mimi nataka kuunga mkono. Asante sana.
Honorable Charles Nguna Ngusia.
Asante sana Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi hii.
Charles Nguna Ngusia, just take back your seat. I have not proposed the question for debate. Honorable members, I propose the question that the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023, be now read a third time. Yeah, so now you can contribute, Honorable Charles Nguna Ngusia.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Nilikuwa nimeharakisha sana kuchangia mswada huu, lakini nimepata ya kwamba umekamilika. Kwa sasa mimi nataka kuongeza sauti yangu kwa hii niunge mkono kabisa, na nataka kuuliza itiwe sahihi haraka iwezekanavyo. Na kama Spika ilivyo desturi yetu, nataka kuomba tafadhali upee dada yangu Rachel Kaki, kuna kitu alikuwa anataka kuongezea hii mswada. Asante sana.
Honorable Charles Nguna Ngusia, I have not seen any request from Honorable Rachel Nyamai to either contribute or to inform you. Honorable Rachel Nyamai, you wanted to contribute?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Because I want to put the question.
Yes, I would like to thank you very much for your indulgence. This is a very important bill, and the proposal that has been, the bill that has just passed, Honorable Speaker, is extremely important. I am aware that the committee has been looking on to amend the same act. I know that it will take time, because after being ascended to it, it needs to take about 6 months. But the issue of snake bites, Honorable Speaker, is a big issue that must be discussed now by this House. We have snake bites all over the country, starting with Baringo, Marsabit, Mandera. Kitui has the most poisonous snakes, Honorable Speaker. And we realize that when this amendment was being done, snake bites seems to have been left out. And I remember it was also removed, actually, in the 12th Parliament. So I would like to request the chair of this committee, after the passage of the 6 months, we will be bringing an amendment so that we also consider snake bites, because snake bites are killing too many people. And the ministry was in my constituency about 3 weeks ago, and the issue of snake bites was raised by my constituents, and so many people are calling for inclusion of snake bites in the compensation as part of the compensation we are discussing today. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for your indulgence. I support.
Yeah, Honorable Rachel, you raise a very important issue. My own grandmother, I never saw my paternal grandmother. He died of a snake bite. And so don't wait for 6 months. You can join the committee in pursuing that endeavor. Honorable members, because of other businesses, let me put the question. I have confirmed that we have the requisite quorum in the House for purposes of making a decision. I therefore put the question, which is that the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Assembly Bill number 3 of 2023 be now read a third time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Wildlife Conservation and Management Act 2013.
Next order.
Order number 15, motion, exemption of major roads, expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriages, resumption of debate.
Is that for resumption of debate? Is it for resumption of debate? But it had been moved and seconded. Honorable Soro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support the motion by the Honorable Faith Gitao on the expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriages. Honorable Speaker, the road issue or the road matter is actually a thorn in the flesh of many Kenyans, Honorable Speaker. That when you move around the world, those of us who have had the privilege to travel across the world, you'll agree with me that we are behind schedule in terms of the road network as a country. Important, Honorable Speaker, is the proposal or the motion by the Honorable Faith Gitao that brings us to the attention of holiday, because that is another area that has become a common holiday destination, Honorable Speaker. Common holiday destination, Honorable Speaker, especially for those who are not able to raise, enough money, Honorable Speaker, and even not even enough money, Honorable Speaker, and even not even enough money. There are very, very good hotels, Honorable Speaker, nowadays in Nakuru, Naivasha area, Honorable Speaker, that people go for holidays, Honorable Speaker. But unfortunately, there is a challenge. You drive all the way from Nairobi, you get to Westlands, but past Limuru, Honorable Speaker, you then now start finding a challenge or getting a challenge of the road network because of so many vehicles, Honorable Speaker, on the way. Because there are so many vehicles on the way in that route. If there is something that we need to think of as a country, is expanding such highways, Honorable Speaker. The roads that go all the way to Malava, the roads that pass through, you know, you go, Honorable Speaker, from Sotik to Kaplong. It's like a road, Honorable Speaker, that was made when the population was 100 million people in this country, or 3 million people in this country. It is really not a road that people should be talking about. And I see Honorable Osero looking at me because that is his home. And he knows very well that there is a challenge between Sotik, Keroka, Kisii, and going all the way, Honorable Speaker, to Sirare. It's really a big challenge, Honorable Speaker. And there are so many vehicles on the road. Really a big challenge, Honorable Speaker. And there are so many vehicles on the road. Those roads, the implementers, or rather the people who came up with that structure of such roads, Honorable Speaker, did not envision a time when we will be densely populated as we are and with so many people on the road. And that is why this motion is coming in timely. Look at Mombasa, Honorable Speaker. Not everybody is able to afford a flight to Mombasa. You know, that immediately you get to Makutano at the junction of Machakos towards Mombasa, Honorable Speaker, the road becomes slimmer and slimmer. And because it was actually made, or you know, it was constructed over 30 or 40 years ago, or even 50 years ago, and not really well maintained. Sometimes, of course, you know, there are potholes on the road. Some irregular bumps have been erected by people because of the accidents that occur, Honorable Speaker. And we even squeeze ourselves in the trailers when you're driving in those roads. I mean, really, it is about time that we start having this discussion on how we can be able to get to expand these roads to have every major road as a dual carriage, Honorable Speaker. But even as we get to that, then we then need to sit down and ask ourselves this question. Is it then possible for this country, the country's budget, to meet those needs? Is it possible that within the budget that we have, Honorable Speaker, that we have all those roads, you know, made under dual carriage, Honorable Speaker? What then, when you ask yourself this question, then it brings up for this answer that it's about time we also start thinking on how we can engage investors on such structures under the PPP terms. That if the government is not able to construct these roads because of the taxes, the insufficient you know, budget that we have, Honorable Speaker, and of course there's several needs, then it's about time that we start embracing the question of the private-public partnerships across the country. It is the question of time. It is about time that we start thinking about that, right? That if you are doing a road towards Malava from Nairobi, then have an investor construct an 8-lane structure, 8-lane carriage on one side, and 8-lane carriage on the other side, with the exclusion of a free one. Then you do tolling so that you are able to recover your money. So you do 8. If you want to go express to Malava, use the dual carriage. If you do not want to pay for the, you know, through the toll station, then just a similar thing that happens, of course, Honorable Speaker, to the expressway. Then you are left with that small, slender road, the old one, so that you can use and remain on traffic as you want. So it's about time that we start telling Kenyans and embracing, even as leaders, the question of the PPP. Because it is not tenable through our budget. If we will be waiting for us, you know, for the exchequer to fund the road, to make the road that way, like Thika Superhighway, so that we can have those dual carriages all through the country. It will not be possible. We want to urge Kenyans to start embracing the private-public partnerships. A similar thing that happened, a similar one like the expressway, it's optional for you to get through the expressway to the JKIA, or you use the underpass and go, it's free, and then go to JKIA. The difference is that one will save time, the other one will pay at a cost. So those are the things that we need to embrace, because it is timely. Looking at the city planning, looking at the country's planning, we are a little bit behind. I was engaging one of the colleagues, Honorable Speaker, when we visited Zambia the other day. You will notice, Honorable Speaker, that in Lusaka, even the city planning itself has envisioned a time where the country will have a population of 50 million or 60 million, because currently Zambia, although it's double in our size, Honorable Speaker, in terms of the landmass, their population is barely 20 million people. But looking at the city planning, the spaces they've left for those who cycle, the spaces they've left for those people who like walking along the road is very safe. But look at our country, Honorable Speaker. The cyclists, the people, the cyclists are riding their motorbikes and their bicycles just besides the vehicles, and besides those people who are doing jogging every day, and besides, of course, trailers, quite risky. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, we've got so many cases of hit and run. And I can tell you, as a legal practitioner, when I started practicing law, Honorable Speaker, the very first thing I started doing, Honorable Speaker, is going through the morgues, Honorable Speaker, for what we call ambulance chasing. And that's what most people who start practicing do whenever because it is common. People are dying on the road, Honorable Speaker, through hit and run. People are hit daily. And because of the nature of our laws, nowadays when you get a person hit by the roadside, Honorable Speaker, you can hardly stop and pick him, because when you take, even if he's, has some little pass left for him to be saved, you will fear, because when you take them to the hospital, you are asked, okay, so are you the one that hit this person? And the police will be after you. And that is why we are turning to be a country of each person for himself and God for us all. It's quite unfortunate. But General Honorable Speaker, it is about time that we start thinking through the PPPs. We start looking for the investors, viable and quality investors, to help us do the dual carriages. They toll to recover their money, but still we leave that slender one, we leave that road, that particular one, to be free of charge, so that you have an option to either toll, use through the toll station and pay, or pass through the normal one. So with that, Honorable Speaker, and this one should actually go deep into the villages, so that it can actually open up the economic channels of this country. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I am very impressed by the Honorable Faith Gitau's motion, and I suggest that it just doesn't end in these structures of motion. We need to think through the public-private partnership, Honorable Speaker, in terms of, for us to engage, for us to be able to achieve this, because it is not possible to do this through the exchequer. I beg to support, Honorable Speaker, and I thank you very much.
Before we proceed, honorable members, I would like to welcome students seated in the public gallery this morning, students from Kivuthine Secondary School, Kibwezi East Constituency, Makueni County. Let us welcome them to the National Assembly. You are welcome to continue observing the proceedings of the House. The Honorable Ekomas Mutuse, you may proceed, and I would like to request you, I've given you a chance there so that you may also welcome the students from Kibwezi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In welcoming the students from Kivuthine Primary School in Kibwezi East, which is my neighboring constituency, just to urge them and their teachers you are welcome to the House of Parliament. This is where decisions in terms of laws, decisions in terms of budgeting, and oversight of expenditures of the national government are taken. This is a house of record, it's a house of order. You are among the privileged few who have had the opportunity to come here, and therefore I congratulate you with your teachers for making to the House of Parliament, and we wish you all the best in your academic journeys, so that in future all of you may grow up to be professionals who this country will look up to in terms of transforming us, and some of you may also become leaders and lead your people at your time. Having said that, Madam Speaker, and I say that on behalf of the Honorable Jess Kambalu because that is our constituency. Having said that, Madam Speaker, allow me to now comment on the motion for the expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriageways that has been moved by the Honorable Faith Gitau. From the onset, Madam Speaker, this is a motion that is not only timely, but is something that should have been done by the country many, many years ago. Madam Speaker, you are now aware that the World Bank has classified Kenya as the 6th largest economy in Africa. We have now overtaken Ethiopia and Angola, and we are now the 6th largest economy in Africa by virtue of the size of our GDP. That means that our infrastructure needs to reflect the size of our economy. And that infrastructure to reflect the size of our economy, our road systems need to be modernized, our railway systems as well need to be modernized, and so that we reflect a country that is the 6th largest economy in Africa in the 21st century. If you compare our infrastructure with that of South Africa, driving from Cape Town to Pretoria, you realize it's the dual carriage. It's a long distance. Same way from many, many cities in our continent that are smaller economies than us. And therefore, we want to congratulate the Honorable Faith Gitau for reminding us in this House and those in the executive that the time has come for our roads to be dual carriageways. Madam Speaker, I represent a constituency that is on the Nairobi-Mombasa Highway, Kibwezi West constituency. From Kibwezi town through Makindu to Emali is a distance of about 70 kilometers on the Nairobi-Mombasa Highway. And there are many, many accidents. It is the same in Kibwezi East, it is the same in Kilome constituency. There are many, many accidents that are happening because the road is a single carriageway. And we have been expecting, especially with the promise that the Americans want to do an expressway from Nairobi to Mombasa, the one that they have nicknamed Usahihi, that we may have this project come to pass so that we may reduce the number of accidents, because one life lost through a road accident is too many lives for us. We have also heard about plans to do the road from Chumvi through Konza Technopolis all the way to Emali under the funding of the Korea government. And I stand to request the executive to fast track such plans so that my people, the people living along the Nairobi-Mombasa Highway, may stop losing their lives because of avoidable accidents that can be avoided by dualing the Mombasa-Nairobi Highway. As for the funding, everything starts with an idea. And we cannot fear to propose ideas of dualing our roads because we do not have the money. And therefore, I want, as I support this motion, to urge the State Department for Roads to come up with a plan on how we can dual our roads and to engage Parliament so that we may pass the necessary policy and legislative framework to facilitate the dualing of all the roads in the Republic of Kenya so that we may reflect the economy that we are, that we may become attractive even to foreign investment and attract more people to come to our country, because a road network, attractive road network also is important in terms of the image of our country that we give to the people who visit our country. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I beg to support and urge that it doesn't end at mere debate, that the Committee on Implementation will pick it up so that we may have a concrete plan with clear timelines on how this will be achieved. I thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mutuse. The Honorable Naomi Wako, member for Marsabit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me to add my contribution to this very important motion brought by Honorable Faith Gitau, one of our very diligent commissioner and a member of parliament. Honorable Speaker, as I stand, I want to confirm that I support this motion because it touches on one of the most important things that we depend on as a country. Honorable Speaker, the proposal that this House resolves that the government through the Ministry of Roads and Transport undertakes an expansion program of national trunk roads with the view of upgrading all classes A, B, and C roads in the country from two-way lanes to dual carriageway, one-way roads with the necessary infrastructure that include footbridges, safe crossing zones at regular intervals. Honorable Speaker, I fully support this because we know very well as a country, so many innocent lives have been lost. We've lost many people. We've lost even tourists who have been in our country due to road carnage. We've lost our young people, students, going for school trips or maybe going to their schools because of road carnage. And by expanding our road, we are sure that the accidents that keep happening in our country and on the roads will be reduced. Honorable Speaker, even as we propose this, some disciplines must be observed of time and how the drivers, should conduct themselves, and having the driving license and doing all the due diligence will help us and add a lot of value to the suggestion that we are making. And again, Honorable Speaker, expanding our roads will be profitable to our country. Our economy will grow because we know very well that many of our neighboring countries depend on us. And by expanding our roads, then we know that we will be able to grow our economy and we'll be able even to be of use to our neighbors, because Kenya, as it is today, we are at the front line and leading from there. We wouldn't want, to cause chaos and also other people to be in our country and have accidents. Honorable Speaker, we also know very well that road transport is still the preferred mode of travel and transport for many Kenyans, simply because it is affordable. And many of us prefer it because we know that when you're on the road, you are safe enough, unless maybe something that you are not aware happens. You know that you will be able to reach your destination safely. But again, if we are not able to manage and to control well, we will continue losing a lot of people. Honorable Speaker, we know that even for the service delivery, we depend on our roads for the service delivery. And these days we have our motorbike, the border borders, who support us. And what the motion is supporting is going to help us a lot, because with what she's saying, safe crossing zones at regular intervals, proper drainage system, and other requisite infrastructure for their optimal operation. Even our border people will have their own path to be riding on, and that will be safe, because right now we are mingling and everybody is trying to compete for space on our roads, which is not safe. And again, we are not saving time. So that we can save time, we can also be effective, we can also be able to achieve many things as we consider doing different things, then we will be able to manage very well. Honorable Speaker, again, it is the suitable way or suitable means of transport when it comes to short distance, because you cannot fly, you cannot jump over, you have to have proper way of driving and just getting to your destination on time. And this is the only way we can be able to achieve all our goals. It is my prayer that we will be able to do this so that in our country, we already have a lot of challenges. We have many people, blaming the government for doing different things. We have Kenyans crying because of poor economy. We have challenges because businesses are not doing well. If we can ease the traffic and if we can help our people to have at least safe way of traveling and reaching their destination, people's businesses will pick and we will be able to do a lot. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support and I request the other members also to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Naomi Wako, the Deputy Whip. The Honorable Gideon Ochanda, member for Bondo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there are a number of things that if people and governments are not able to realize and do, will continue being in many, many, many problems. One of these is the issue of planning and the use of data. Our successive governments are well aware that we have more vehicles on the road each year as years advance. What is it that we are doing, or what is it that we are placing for purposes of this increase of traffic in terms of our road infrastructure? I think there are some very basic things, very, very, very basic, that governments, the successive governments, have not worked towards this. And they are well aware that vehicles are registered every day, the number has been going up, and where we are taking these vehicles to is not developed. It's a similar problem we have, for example, in housing and what we are seeing in Nairobi now. One house or a household is brought down, one building, and instead it is replaced by a massive house of more than 40 households. While you are doing this, you have not planned for sewer, you have not planned for transport, you have not planned for all these many other things. And this is exactly where the messes are coming in. And we also have data in terms of the amount of messes that we have on our roads. We also have the amount of messes that we have even in terms of the other infrastructure because of planning. I don't want to say that planning has not been bad, but somebody is ignoring, because these are very bare facts, that when you increase in number, definitely there must be a provision. Even if it is water, there must be a provision. Nairobi doesn't have the same people it had 20 years ago. There must be a provision. There must be some forward looking in terms of how some of these things are supposed to be met. And Madam Speaker, even some very basic way of how government raises revenue, we are well aware that if you put aside the formal ways of raising taxes or revenue, transport sector is one of the biggest sectors that helps these governments to raise money. What is it that we are doing when you are very sure that a sector generates for you money? It is a sector again that you ignore. Because if it were any other ordinary mind, you'll invest more where you generate more. And there was a policy in this country one time that you put more where you get more. You put more money where more money comes from. I don't know where this was lost. And a more particular one is where we use planning deliberately for a 5-year cycle. We plan with politics in mind. I think this is where there's a big problem. Because we are talking about these major roads. Some of them cannot be fixed within the 5-year period. But for purposes of planning and investment in them, it is important that we spread them across. Where we are at the moment, we are seeing problems that we would have avoided many years ago. 60 years since independence, we've only managed to do a railway, the SGR, which even as at now is still not in our hands. We've not done any. And yet we know that this would have been the best alternative to the road problems. You look at the colonial government, they were able to do this railway from Mombasa to Uganda in a decade. Yeah? And that was from 1901, 1902, and those are ages ago. Here we are, since independence, we are not even able to do a 1 or so kilometer of even if the old railway system that we were using before, even if we decided to put aside the SGR. I know there are those attempts that are there in place, but many of them are still focusing on doing these things within 5-year period. It can't work. So for purpose of our planning, we needed to know that from Mombasa to Nairobi was to be done in a certain period of time. Nairobi, Busia or Malaba to be done in a certain period of time. Nairobi, Garissa to be done in a certain period of time. Nairobi, Kisumu and whatever to be done in a certain period of time. This is exactly what has helped Tanzania. Tanzania has some of the very major bridges across their bigger rivers. But they have been doing those major bridges within, they're now 5, within every term of each parliament, each presidency, each government. They've been doing very major projects in terms of road network and bridges. They have bigger bridges than those we have if you put aside Nyali. The other bridges are really big because of the big rivers. And this has been happening because it is not tied to electoral period of time. So, Madam Speaker, these are some of the things that really needs to be looked at, so that when we are planning, we plan and we make use of our data. The next one is the issue of quality, Madam Speaker. You do a road, is a highway, and you are doing it like you are doing a village road. I'm bringing this in place, like in my place. We have a road, a Kenha road done from Kisian to Osieko. It's a Kenha road. But if you look at this road, it's a road that cannot withhold the kind of time and the kind of traffic that we have on it, because it was poorly done. More so between Bondo and Osieko is worse. And the maintenance arrangement cannot work. Every single time there's some contractor in place. As at now, the road surface is like it was a small village road. So the quality of works that go into highways also must be looked at, so that we don't go into one road 1 year after the other, you are on one road. 1 year after the other, you are on one road. We fix major roads, we fix them right, we fix them to last for purpose of quality, and then we move on. But if we are doing one road poorly done, and every single day you have to work on issues of maintenance, like this road I'm talking about, there's some contractors in one place or the other every single day, and it doesn't work. Right now it's in horrible condition, and you really wonder why was that money used in doing this road. If it would have been used in a village road rather than a highway. So, Madam Speaker, there are these issues that must be looked at: the issue of planning, the issue of where revenue is raised from, the issue of quality, and the issue of really looking at the alternative. Alternative to roads can only be railways, nothing else. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ochanda. The Honorable Jackson Lekumontare, member for Samburu East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance to contribute to this motion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this motion is very good for discussion. And I think, Madam Speaker, these roads, some of these roads, Madam Speaker, they are just there now to waste time. Because, Madam Speaker, if you look at some of our roads, you can be in a road for a very long time. And I think, Madam Speaker, just as other members have said, it is time for expansion. And I think this is a very good discussion, Madam Speaker. And as we discuss, it's very important, Madam Speaker, to be known that some parts of this country, there are no roads, even that single line. And we are discussing about expanding the roads. But other parts of this country, Madam Speaker, like where I represent, Samburu East, there are no roads, Madam Speaker. And I think equity is very important to every part of this country. You find that, Madam Speaker, the road may be serving a population, it is not there. Even getting some services become a problem. And if at all we are in the same country, then it is advisable and it is very important, even for those who implement these projects, to consider every part of this country. It's even better, Madam Speaker, to say every constituency should have at least a tarmac road. But I think some parts of this country, even children are going tour to see tarmac after 60 years of independence. And it is very important, Madam Speaker, as we talk about expanding the existing roads. The time for this expansion is also an issue. Madam Speaker, if you look at the road passing through Karatina, that road, I usually pass that road. And since I came to this parliament, now this is my second term, the contractors have been there since. Even when I was a teacher, I used to pass there, Madam Speaker, and the contractors are on the site throughout. I don't know when will that road be completed. And I think people are not serious even to do what they are supposed to do. Because for more than 10 years, just trying to expand the road, it is not moving. So it is a good thing to discuss, a good thing to bring this motion. And I think it is important that it should be implemented, Madam Speaker. We lack good roads in this country. And I don't agree, Madam Speaker, when we say the resources are not enough, because they are enough in other places. It is only people are not looking at the whole country in a very fair manner. Some parts will get a lot of money, while others, when we look at other parts, then there is no funds. That is the usual song people are singing every now and then. And I think it is now the high time the government should be able to look at every part and consider it. If the budget is small, then it should be small for everybody. But you can find other places getting a lot of money, but others, no roads throughout. And we are in the same country. So I think it is very good. We really need to look at how maybe we can get funds to try help Kenyans. If you look at even the commodities, the way people are getting even food, commodities in other places, it is very high because of bad roads. When people are saying here unga has gone, Madam Speaker, in our places, we even don't talk because the road is worsening even what our people are getting. So I think it's a good thing, good to discuss, but very important to note that there are no roads in other places. And I think if we really want to be fair, let us look at every corner of this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support this expansion of roads to every place. Thank you.
Thank you, Member for Samburu East. The Honorable Wilberforce Oundo, Member for Funyula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And Honorable Professor, you have only 4 minutes. The time for this motion is coming to an
Okay, thank
end.
you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also join my colleagues in supporting the motion by Honorable Faith Gitau on expansion of major roads in the country to dual carriageways. Honorable Speaker, transportation is the key to industrialization, is the key to improving the economy, and its importance cannot be gainsaid. Honorable Speaker, many of our so-called trunk roads, the international roads connect various regions and towns in this country, cannot really be constituted or be considered to be true roads in the true sense in what we see in the other countries. Honorable Speaker, it's such a shame that the road from Kisumu all the way to the border at Busia is literally a track. It cannot be called a road. Yet we pride ourselves That's the road to Great Lake region, to the entire all parts of the East and Central Africa. Honorable Speaker, the same applies to large chunks of the road between Eldoret and Malaba. It's therefore important that, as Honorable Faith has stated, that this country, the planners, all those who are involved, should move with speed and through other means, find ways and means of ensuring that these roads are dual. Honorable Speaker, if you travel many parts of this world, even small countries in Africa, all their major trunk roads are truly dual roads so that they move traffic, move goods fairly fast to where they are supposed to be. But Honorable Speaker, as we concentrate on the roads, allow me also to join Dr. Chanda. In many other parts of the country, actual road supplements transport. We have an untapped opportunity for purposes of railway. We could have moved much more goods, much more passengers, faster, safer, if we had continuously invested in the railway network. The last railway to be built was during the colonial time. The next has been during President Uhuru's time. Surely, honestly speaking, if we could find a way, I had an opportunity to travel in South Korea, a distance of almost 1,000 kilometers with a speed train. You cover much less a period of time, and you move much more many people compared to road transport. But unfortunately, for Madam Faith, this is just a mere motion. Implementing or putting into practice motions in this country, if we have such a bad history, we might just end up being a chat show here without much impact or effort. With those few remarks, so that I save time, I support.
Thank you very much, honorable members. The balance of time, 48 minutes, has expired. So this motion, I'm sorry, it comes to an end. I know a few of you had wanted to speak, like the Honorable Dr. Mutunga, the Honorable Dick Maungu, and those two. Sorry, you cannot. I would like now to call upon the mover to reply. Is the mover in the house? I understand that the mover is in another meeting, the Commissioner Faith Kitau. So that will be scheduled at another time by the House Business Committee. Next order.
Order number 16, motion, implementation of the universal health coverage and of a policy on mandatory use of public health care facilities by public officers.
Motion by the Honorable Sabina Chege, nominated member. I would like this to be scheduled at another time. Next order.
Order number 17, motion, formulation of a regulatory framework on artificial intelligence in the country.
This motion is by the Honorable Marianne Kitani, MP. Yes, we try to trace the Honorable Marianne because I've just seen her around. Honorable members, I would like to welcome students seated in the Speakers Gallery this morning. Students from El Kejuado High School, Kajiado constituency in Kajiado County. You are welcome to the National Assembly to continue observing proceedings of the House. Honorable members, let's welcome them in our usual way. Thank you. Honorable members, in the absence of the Honorable Marianne Kitani, I order that this motion be scheduled at another time by the House Business Committee. Next order.
Order number 18, motion, formulation of land use policy on zoning of land for agriculture and belt development.
Honorable members, this motion Motion number 18, formulation of land use policy on zoning by the Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, MP Westlands. That one is also deferred. Honorable members, I would like to inquire from the Honorable Kitani. Please approach the table. Request the Honorable Sabina Chege, please approach the table. So I request the clerk to call order number 17.
Order number 17, motion, formulation of a regulatory framework on artificial intelligence in the country.
The Honorable Marianne Kitani, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Motion on artificial intelligence, on regulatory framework on artificial intelligence in the country. That aware that the world is rapidly embracing artificial intelligence, or AI, which is the use of a digital computer or computer-controlled robots to perform tasks commonly associated with the intelligent beings, and acknowledging that the 2022 Government Artificial Intelligence Readiness Index report ranked Kenya the 5th in Africa and 90th globally in readiness to adopt artificial intelligence, further acknowledging that the Oxford Insight Survey 2022 pegged Kenya's readiness to adopt AI at 40.3%, and appreciating that AI, or artificial intelligence, has brought forth positive benefits that have increased efficiency in different sectors such as healthcare, manufacturing, and robotics, and concerned that the exponential rate at which the artificial intelligence is being embraced in the society without proper regulatory mechanisms has caused various negative consequences, such as rising cases of disinformation and fake news, and noting that there is need to protect Kenyans from potential AI-instigated harms, such as privacy breaches, AI-powered fake technology algorithms, algorithmic discrimination, autonomous weapons, job displacement and economic inequality, social manipulation and misinformation, financial market manipulation, and privacy invasion. Now, therefore, this House urges the government, through the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, to 1, formulate a regulatory framework and ethical guidelines for implementation of artificial intelligence, or AI, in the country, to control its potential use, and 2, develop and execute public awareness programs on artificial intelligence to raise understanding of artificial intelligence, fostering transparency and promoting responsible use of AI for the benefit of all. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
She should have. You need to move the motion. Do you have a seconder?
Okay. I'll ask Honorable Maungo to second. I move the motion that formulation of a regulatory framework on artificial intelligence in the country, and ask Honorable Maungo to second. Thank you.
Proceed to second the motion.
I've been given double mics. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me first and foremost acknowledge that Honorable Marianne has just proposed a very important and significant motion that comes at a time where the country is at a point in time, Madam Speaker, where artificial intelligence is a thing of the day. Madam Speaker, as well captured, regulatory framework may be the most important thing to do at a point like this, because there are several benefits that accrue to the country, several benefits accrue to the citizens and the community at large by using artificial intelligence. Madam Speaker, we have been able to see what artificial intelligence can do, and we live in a society that is a global village, Madam Speaker. And if we don't have regulatory framework within which artificial intelligence will be used, Madam Speaker, members of the public and the country at large is likely to suffer some consequences, Madam Speaker. And therefore, having a framework within which people, the public, can use AI will be the way to go. I therefore second. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Member for Luanda. Honorable members, I now propose a question. That aware that the world is rapidly embracing artificial intelligence, which is the use of digital computer or computer-controlled robots to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. Acknowledging that in 2022, Government Artificial Intelligence Readiness Index report ranked Kenya 5th in Africa and 90th globally in readiness to adopt artificial intelligence. Further acknowledging that Oxford Insights Survey 2022 pegged Kenya's readiness to adopt AI at 40.3%, appreciating that AI has brought forth positive benefits that have increased efficiency in different sectors such as healthcare, manufacturing, and robotics, concerned that exponential rate at which artificial intelligence is being embraced in the society without proper regulation mechanisms has caused various negative consequences, such as rising cases of disinformation and fake news, noting that there is need to protect Kenyans from the potential AI-instigated harm, such as privacy breaches, AI-powered fake technology algorithms, algorithmic discrimination, autonomous weapons, job displacement and economic inequality, social manipulation and misinformation, financial market manipulation, and privacy invasion. Now, therefore, this House urges the government, through the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, to 1, formulate a regulation framework and ethical guidelines for implementation of artificial intelligence in the country to control its potential misuse, and 2, develop and execute a public awareness program of artificial intelligence to raise understanding of AI, foster transparency, and promote responsible use of AI for the benefit of all. Honorable Gideon Ochanda. The Honorable Karemba, do you have a point of order? Anything out of order, Honorable Karemba?
Not a point of order.
You wanted to contribute?
Yes.
In that case, let me give the first opportunity to the Honorable Gideon Ochanda. Are you interested in this one, or it was
yes,
the earlier
yes.
one?
Yes.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thanks, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the world is moving very, very, very fast. And in the study of what we call political science, the animals that move so slowly is the governments. Governments are very slow. They can't move at the speed at which the world is going. And the world is going that route because of it's being driven by individuals and minds that are towards making things easy or easier to be done, easier to be delivered, easier to be understood, and effortlessly making things work. Madam Speaker, if one were to look at this country in the last 20 years only, you looked at how we have moved from the issue of even the telephone alone, when we had these fixed cubes of telephone. In the last 20 years, if you had to do an international call, you had to book, you come to Telecom here in Nairobi, for you to be booked for a number of weeks before you are connected to US. And these things are not long ago. They are very recent. And we've seen them come and pass. And now, one of the greatest problems that states are to have is the issue of insecurity related to where technology is taking us to. The police, the intelligence, the governments, wherever they are at risk because individuals are ahead of them. Citizens are ahead of them. And that's why there's this outcry, because you are trying to adjust, you are trying to adapt with a speed that you are not able to cope. That's why one day you hear about a person running a completely different parallel press. The government is not aware, the main press is not aware, and the following day it brings issues. So we are slow. Governments are slow. Governments, when it comes to what we call the inertia, they take too long to turn. And by the time they turn, they'll find when individuals are far, far much ahead of them. And that's where we are with technology. So, Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to say is that if our governments are not able, in fact, some of this needs to be clear-cut departments with smart people. Some of these guys that we are chasing outside there needs to be in government. These guys who are running away with the computers and are able to do certain things that are beyond us, that are surprising us, needs to be collected. They need to be somewhere where they need to be working for this government. Otherwise, when we leave them outside there, unregulated, because you can't say something is illegal if it is not in law. Yeah? If it is not in law, it is not illegal. So even if when one commits it, whether it is bad or wrong, there's nowhere you will take them to. And that's exactly where we are in this nation as at now. That we have individuals ahead of this government in terms of IQ, in terms of where they are, in terms of technology, they are ahead. And the best that the government is supposed to do is to collect this guy somewhere. And I think that's what many governments are doing. Collect all these smart brains, have them somewhere, because you know if you leave them, they're going to be ahead of you, and it's going to be a disaster. Number two, Madam Speaker, we are talking about unemployment. The issue of AI is the issue that is to deal with labor problems. Labor. So what is going to happen? I want to give a small example that I've been to a school, a big high school, where there are 8 streams of classes. And this school, compared to other schools, including mine, a school in my constituency that's employing 98 teachers, this school is only employing 18 teachers. And they are working in a manner that one teacher in a small corner of a computer room is able to handle 8 streams or 8 classes at a go. So look at that. If we went that route, what happens with these many teachers that we are training? That's where the contradiction comes in. What happens to these thousands of people that we are training? This government has done very well, particularly in terms of recruitment of teachers. We are above 70,000 people teachers that have been recruited. Those that have not been recruited are still in their thousands. Those that are in colleges are in their thousands. Universities alone are churning not less than 100,000 people or students each year. Funny, Madam Speaker, you know, when I finished the university, my first degree, we were only 2,019 people in the whole country. And this is not long ago. Now we are churning out over 100,000 in 1 year. Where are they going to? So while we look at that in terms of the amount of labor that we are likely to churn out for work, compare that with where we are moving towards the issue of AI, and many are not still looking at this, we are likely to be in crazy situations. That's where there's this thing that I was talking, that Ketan talked about, the issue of awareness. What is it that we need to put forward as governments, as people? Are we able to prepare our people that, no, let them look out? They are likely going to be out of jobs. There will be no jobs for them. Why? Because of AI. AI, why? Because we can't avoid it, is where the world is going to. So we'll be remaining with the bulk of our guys, the bulk of our labor, stranded here. And when they're stranded, that's again another problem. So the balancing. You know, our people resisted tea picking machines. I don't know how many are able to remember that. All of a sudden, those machines are picked up and they are working. So what has happened to the people who are doing it, who are picking tea? They are no longer complaining, but it is beneficial to those that invest in the sector. You must reduce the cost. The cost of labor is one of those costs in production that is so high, particularly in most of the countries, and even including ours. The people who also go to work don't go with the attitude that they are working for purposes of making sure that everybody benefits. They go to work in the name of getting money. They don't care what they are doing. It's just a matter of the end month is there, they earn, and they go. So by the end of the day, if a potential employer or any other employer anywhere else realizes that they have alternatives to that labor, they'll definitely pick it. So as a country, as a people, we must be very, very careful moving forward. AI is a must. And if we don't do it, if we don't regulate it, it's going to run ahead of us. It's going to run ahead of the government. People are going to do it. And already they experiment. Some countries are delivering, I think, blood and all that with the robots in the country. So what happens if Lamu has robots, Busia has robots, and all of them are in the air, running helter-skelter everywhere else without any regulation, without any kind of commands? So I want to believe, Madam Speaker, this is apt. The motion is apt, and the government must look at it. Even when they look at it in terms of how motions are implementable or not, it gives the government a warning that there's something that must be done. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Muchangi. Please trace him and give him the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, Karemba is also my name. Should always be very comfortable. Yeah, it is my name. It's my official, it's an official name. Yeah. Thank you very much. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to rise to support this motion by the Honorable Member for Aldai. And I would say it is a very timely motion, given that the world is moving very fast, matters technology. And there isn't a better time to introduce this conversation in this country than now. AI, Madam Speaker, has great potential and can impact very positively, yes, but still, Honorable Speaker, it has great potential for damages. AI has enormous potential in doing so, and it should be in our interest to regulate this space, the artificial intelligence space, so that we ensure that information is not distorted, because this country in the past and even in the most recent past has been a victim of distortion of information, which has potential to bring about conflict. So I imagine that this government, our government rather, must move fast and regulate the artificial intelligence space, owing to the fact that artificial intelligence nowadays is even being used in the space of healthcare. It's also being used in the space of manufacturing. It is also being used in the space of education. So how can we, in a world that is moving very fast, be reluctant in regulating this space? So before all Kenyans embrace, I believe Many Kenyans have already embraced artificial intelligence. So before all countries embrace it, we need to be among the very first countries in Africa to regulate this space so that we can provide a platform and a space that is regulated for the generations to come. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Stephen Mogaka, Member for West Mogirango.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity for me to contribute to this overdue motion. And I want to thank the Honorable Marian Kitani for this focus, forethought, and for waking up the country to the reality of life now and going forward. Madam Speaker, we all know that technology is the driver of everything at the moment. And AI is the latest entrant into the toolkit in ICT that has made work extremely easy, that has increased efficiency, that has made it possible to improve productivity, but that has also come with equal dangers because technology, like anything good, is a double-edged sword. And as much as it is very helpful and is actually in the economies of this country, of this globe, it is also having equal damage. Because when you employ AI in warfare, like is happening elsewhere in the world today, you can see the havoc that is being created by military people who are not at the war front, but are remotely attacking their perceived enemies and causing a lot of harm. Madam Speaker, Kenya has invested heavily in technical training institutes. And we have supplied them with very basic ICT support material. I am urging this country, and this House in particular, to incorporate AI training and AI training infrastructure in all our technical training institutes so that we tool our learners with the latest toolkit in the technological world. Because I'm aware that with AI, the practice of all professions, call it medicine, call it law, call it architecture, has been completely revolutionized. I do remember, Madam Speaker, courtesy of the COVID-19, as a practicing lawyer, we didn't know where we would have gone if our judicial system had not automated, so that we were able to practice law from our houses, practice law from our home, present witnesses from where they are, rather than having to transport them to courts and expose them to COVID-19. And I'm happy that we did those basic steps out of total necessity. Now we are where it is either you embrace AI or you are edged out of whatever market or business that you are in. It is my humble prayer that in the budget, we must start with a policy framework of how to embrace AI and maximize its utility so that we release a lot of man hours of people traveling on the roads to workplaces, of sitting in the offices waiting for a colleague to bring a key to open so that you access your working material, so that we can release as much labor or man hours as possible to alternative economic employment. In other words, Madam Speaker, I am saying what machine can do, let not man bother to struggle to do, because machines are efficient, impossible to interfere with, incorruptible, and therefore this should go. Looking at the budget we have in the education sector, for instance, Madam Speaker, where we are told that even with that budget, other children in this country are still learning under trees.
We need so much infrastructure, investment in physical infrastructure, that is mortar, and I think going forward, and this is the direction, we do not need to have our children in boarding schools. We do not have to have our children in schools. Children can learn from home so that we can improve parenting and be able to reduce the rate of inclination into criminal conduct of our young persons because of lack of parental care and guidance wherever they are. And I want to plead that our ICT ministry wakes up and draws a policy framework that this House should debate, discuss, approve, and then inculcate, create a very deliberate learning program for all sectors, both private and public sector, so that as a country, we embrace technology, we embrace AI, we exploit the advantages of that AI and be able to be an industrial giant in a very short while. And as we do that, we urge the engineers in this sector to be very candid with the country on the dangers associated with the use of that technology so that we build up firewalls, we build up regulatory mechanisms to ensure that what is so good when used badly does not become extremely destructive. And with that, Madam Speaker, I support and thank the people of West Mogrango all the time for making me their member of parliament. And I think, Madam Speaker, I invite you there to confirm that I attend parliament every other day and make contributions whenever asked to do so. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Actually, when you are speaking, I noticed that you seem to be very happy today. So, and you are also bringing the same happiness to the House, and thank you for your invitation. The Honorable Geoffrey Mulanya, member for Nambale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the opportunity to speak on this motion. As has been said by my colleagues, it is very important that we get a proper regulatory framework to control the use of artificial intelligence in this country. We know that the society is moving very fast. And Madam Speaker, you know that every time we have new children born in society, their minds are racing ahead of even the parents. And this is courtesy of the information technology that's being availed. When you buy a new phone, there are new technology that is being advanced daily. But now the government is not moving at the same pace in this particular space. You note that, Madam Speaker, currently as you speak, the AI is the one being used by most doctors right now in prescribing medicine, which is dangerous. AI is being used in education for teachers who are preparing learning lessons to teach in schools. AI is being even used in the legal fraternity. The other day, I had a complaint from a judge indicating that young advocates are now using AI to prepare submissions to forward in court, whereby they are quoting non-existing laws, non-existing judicial precedents that we rely on in legal case, so that we have a sequence. We don't want to have contradictions. But when someone is now coming in, we're using artificial intelligence to prepare submissions, quote non-existing cases, you find out that the judge that is presiding over the case is easily going to be misled. We also have the AI being used by architects drawing houses, which is now becoming very dangerous. Madam Speaker, you note, as it has been said, the lack of regulatory framework is one that has led into all these things happening in our society. It's therefore very important that we formulate regulatory framework and ethical guidelines for implementation of the artificial intelligence in the country to control the potential misuse. We have had cases of fake news because we have young intelligence people coming up with news that are fake. But all this information for Marianne Keitani and thank her for bringing up this particular motion. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Member for Nambale. The Honorable Dr. John Mutunga, Member for Tigania West and Chair Agriculture.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also add my voice to the Honorable Marian Keitany's motion on the need for regulatory framework in the use of artificial intelligence. Honorable Speaker, in the stage at which we are technologically, Kenya will have no choice other than embrace artificial intelligence. As we speak, Honorable Speaker, we've already embraced anyway in certain sectors, and the process is ongoing. So what is important, and what the Honorable Member is speaking so loudly about, is having a regulatory framework that will basically guide on how to use artificial intelligence in the advent of losses of job, potential losses of job, and the need for further and more intensive and more complicated industrialization, as well as the growth of stage that we are in. Honorable Speaker, we witness in movies, and sometimes in the newscasts, most of the time, we see how artificial intelligence has played a role in especially collecting intelligence from various places, and also for even mapping, geo-mapping of an area, where we use drones, even determining where to spray in agricultural, pest and disease control. Artificial intelligence has become very, very, very important. In modern warfare, drones have been used quite a lot. And I believe one of the advancements that we need today is that artificial intelligence which can enable us to identify the powers of the enemy, the placement and the distribution of the enemy, their warfare and the investments in various areas. We have also seen that in the service sector, artificial intelligence has become very, very important. And therefore, it is key that we embrace artificial intelligence as a country. Honorable Speaker, last 2 months, I think it was in April, I happened to participate in a convention on coffee marketing in Houston, in America. And we were amazed by the level at which certain countries have reached in terms of service of the coffee itself, where a robot takes an order from a human being, prepares the coffee, serves the coffee in specific amounts, and basically ensures that payment is done, and makes sure that the combinations are correct. So there is need for us to focus on how do we then embrace artificial intelligence, even as the knowledge permeates across the board. So it's a must that the country must embrace, but embraces in a systematic manner and in a manner that we are able to contain the user. Our Speaker, regulation is important. We need to discern which areas should we actually allow or control, what measures of control should we take when it comes to use of artificial intelligence. It is important for us to also focus on the areas that probably are dangerous to human beings so that we may promote artificial intelligence, especially when it comes to manufacturing. We know for sure that most of the manufacturing sector has embraced artificial intelligence, especially in other countries. And in this country also, we have investments in this particular area. So as we look at how do we invest in this area, what levels of control should we exercise, and how do we manage this? We need a policy. And this policy direction will help us as a country to manage this particular process. Kenya is noted as one of the countries in Africa that has advanced in this. In terms of ICT, Honorable Speaker, we are an advanced country. We are doing a lot. And investment in ICT is a purposed decision of the current government. There is a whole ministry that is looking at the possibilities within the digital divide, how we can exploit the opportunities therein, even to employ our children. Honorable Speaker, when we are looking at these possibilities, let us discern which section, which part of the investment structure should we use artificial intelligence. And Honorable Speaker, we are talking about digitization every year. Every time, every sector is getting through digitization. Even as we look at digitization, we may also know that it is not possible for us to control the learners. Research has to go on in various areas of ICT. We have to have our learners trying out options and possibilities. We know in the process of trying out options and possibilities, innovations in this country have been born, and they are born fruits, and they have really created a lot of employment, especially the M-Pesa, for instance, innovation. There are very many other innovations that have come by. There may be innovations that will also replace the possible job losses. So we need to allow research to continue, but in containment, to the extent that we need to be able to know which area is being focused on and what are the possible findings that we are looking at. Madam Speaker, there's a lot of disinformation, especially in this country, and this disinformation is a lot more propagated through the media and through the social media. Social media has embraced sufficient use of ICT. And that being the case, how can we also use artificial intelligence to enhance verification of the information that goes out? Madam Speaker, as we move on, and even as we look at the court process where the burden of proof must be, must go on through to whatever extent, we are looking at a future where possibilities, there are possibilities that people will say, using drones, we are able to collect this information. But we need to control this particular use of artificial intelligence to the extent that, because we know what we put in is what generates an output. And therefore, we need to be able to control how we use these options, as it were. There are several possibilities that are important for us. First of all, containment of the news and news content. It is very important for us to know what kind of artificial intelligence was used to collect what news and whether there are possibilities before release of such news. If we do not contain this, then we are likely to be finding ourselves in cases where a proof has not been given and there has been sufficient circulation, which may mislead most of the Kenyans. The other issue is the control of associated onslaughts or the areas where we have embraced artificial intelligence. We need a verification mechanism, Madam Speaker, whereby we will be able to know exactly how does the use of this technology lead to generation of information that probably can cause credible, reliable, and verifiable. And if the information is not verifiable, Madam Speaker, we need to have mechanisms that can help us to shun this, to get this information from circulation. When we focus on job losses, Madam Speaker, artificial intelligence is likely to lead to job losses, yes. We are a country in transition which requires to employ most of our people, and also it can be a possibility that our people can be employed in this particular area. So even as we look at advancement and the use of this particular technology, then we may be looking at how can we use it in tandem with promotion of productivity within the productive sector so that we are also creating more jobs, such that we win off those tasks that are difficult, tasks that are risky, tasks that require a lot more of machinery use, and then we place human beings to those tasks that require a lot of intensive scrutiny. Madam Speaker, public awareness is very important. In our country, the awareness levels are high, but unfortunately, most of the information that circulates around is not necessarily very credible, not verifiable, and not reliable. How can we use this artificial intelligence to ensure that we develop sufficient understanding to our people on how to even cross-check information that they are being given? Madam Speaker,